Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Aspire to Inspire Live. My name is Mark Fabric. I've been a writer for the Aspire to Inspire series for a couple of months. Perhaps you've seen a couple of my most recent features. I've talked to Flux Pavilion, Blaster Jacks, Big Gigantic, and LA XX most recently. And, well, we are here at Aspire to Inspire. Today we have none other than Danny Avila, live from Spain with us. Say what's up to him, Danny.
You good?
We're good.
Cool.
But fans, if you have any questions, please make sure to tweet your questions using the hashtag ATI Live. Anybody that has any questions or anything, we're going to ask Danny later on at the end of the show. So without further ado, Danny Avila, let's do this. So Danny, obviously, like, you've had so much success in the game so far and you're still so young. You moved to Madrid at age 15 from your little town of Marbella. Tell me a little bit about that move at such a young age, like what came of it, what you learned, and, you know, if you could go back and do anything different, what would you do?
Yeah, well, basically, I was born in Madrid. And I moved to Marbella when I was 5 or 6, I believe. And I started like my whole music career in Marbella. I started playing the violin when I was 7. Then I played the guitar when I was like, I don't know, like 9 or 10. Then I played the piano. And then I started DJing when I was like 12. So for me, DJing was pretty much like one more instrument in the end, you know. Pretty much how everything happened was I was just like this kind of nerd, always on my computer, watching videos and learning about, like, you know, computers and electronics, about music in general. And, you know, back then, like, DJing wasn't the same thing or even close to what it is right now. I watched this video of DJ Tiesto and impressed me a lot. So I just bought a very simple controller. I think it cost me like 40 or 50 euros. And I just started DJing for fun. I used to spend like 20 hours a day in my room just like practicing. Like I didn't care about the rest. I just cared about music, and I wanted to keep learning and learning more. And then after 1 year, I started making music. We were like a group of friends in Marbella, like 4 or 5 friends, you know, learning and like teaching each other, and like, you know, just spending a lot of hours every day making music. The problem is that in Marbella, because it's more like a village, everyone thinks that it's this place for like rich people and all that stuff, but it really isn't. It's only like in the summer, it's like Ibiza, it's like, you know, crazy, but the rest of the year, it's kind of boring. So I decided to move to Madrid by myself when I was 15 to, you know, try to meet more people and try to, you know, maybe start playing at like better clubs and like try to build a team, or, you know, like connections are important in the end. So I just wanted to try to reach the next level at some point. So yeah, that's, you know, that's a decision I made, and I'm very happy I did that actually.
Very interesting. Cool. And was your family supportive of it, or were they kind of like, no, you should look for, like, you know, a real job or something like that, you know? And how did you kind of handle being away from all of that, you know, at such a young age?
Well, you're right. To be honest, my family was a little bit like, you know, they weren't too sure about it. The only one that was always very supportive was my father. Actually, there is like crazy rumors about my dad being like club owner, and like, you know, he, you know, pretty much he was the one putting me at all the clubs to play and all that stuff. But that's not true at all, because he actually works in the teeth industry. He's a dentist. But that's kind of funny. But he helped me a lot in terms of just like, he was very supportive. He used to drive me to all the shows and to talk to the promoters. I remember like my first shows, I was getting paid like 40 or 50 euros for like a 3-hour set, and he used to help me, you know, like getting paid and talking to all the owners and all that stuff. But just like all the fathers, or most of like the fathers want to see their kids, you know, they just want to help them. So in the end, you know, my dad was always the one supporting me all the time. But my family was a little bit more scared, let's say.
All right, well, that's very cool right there. And you said, you know, one of the main reasons you moved to Madrid was to make new connections and meet other people. Did that happen right away, or did you struggle to meet new people and find, you know, other young people who are into the same thing as you were once you moved?
Actually, it was very difficult, and in the beginning, it was terrible. I remember that it was very hard because, I mean, you know how this industry is. You know, there's like, and back then it was, it's still a little bit easier. Like it's not like it is right now. That there's just like like thousands and thousands of DJs. It's like back then it was still a little bit easier, but still it was very difficult to get the first shows. I remember one of the guys that helped me the most was this guy from Spain called DJ Nano. He helped me so much in the beginning. He's one of the most respected guys in the country, and he was the one helping me, and he brought me to one of his shows, and I was talking to some people. And then after 8 months, I signed a residency to play every Saturday from 8 till 10 p.m. It was like an underage party at a club. And, when at that age, it was like 15, 16-year-olds. And like, I remember fans that were crazy, like all these girls, talking and talking. And that's pretty much like one of the first things that put me on the spot, at least in my country, I was like 15, I think. 16, something like that. So yeah, and from there, it was like step by step, but that's pretty much when everything happened.
Really? Wow. All right. Very cool. Very cool. And obviously you are where you are now, very successful. Do you ever wish that you could like go back and have what was like a normal teenage life and just be like a normal, like 20-year-old, like at university, or like, just hanging with friends or something? Or are you happy and content with where you are right now?
To be honest, I wouldn't really change anything. I mean, it is true, like, everyone that travels so much and it's always on the road and, is like constantly traveling. Of course, there's some things that you miss in the end, like your family, your friends, but you put everything on a balance and it's like, dude, I wouldn't change it. I love what I do, and I've been touring. Let's say that the last 3 years have been really intense, but I've been on the road for 4 or 5 years and I love it, man. I just love it. And, I mean, I don't really know when it's going to end or not, but I wish I could do it for the next, couple of years, like 20 years, 15 years. I don't know. I just like it a lot.
That's cool. Awesome there. And what advice would you have to someone who's trying to go on the same path? Maybe they're uprooting themselves from, a small town and their family and everything, and they're trying to pursue something that's going to require them to be on the road a lot and away from their family. Like, what would you say to them, like, to stick with it there?
Well, to be honest, the advice I would give like a few years ago, maybe like 4, 5, 6 years ago, before the whole, electronic dance music scene exploded, the advice I would have given back then was different than right now, because the scene was very different. It was more about the art of DJing, actually, instead of like, producing or actually building a profile like 360 in terms of marketing and videos and this whole thing that you have to build to put your profile on the spot. But right now, I think it's very important to just try to have your own personality. Don't really try to copy other stuff. What I always say is that, and one of the things that helped me the most is I have a lot of inspirations. I like a lot of artists, and I get influences from all these people, but I never really try to copy anyone, because in the end, you don't want to be a second Skrillex. You don't want to be a second, I don't know, second Tiesto or whoever your inspiration is. So it's good that you have inspirations, but don't copy anybody.
Interesting. All right, that like segues perfectly in like what I want to talk about next with producing. Like you said, like when you were starting to come up in DJ, like you were able to get into spots and stuff like that, even though you weren't making a lot. What about when you started out producing your own music? Did you find that to be a struggle? And if so, if you ever had any doubts, how did you ever overcome those right there?
Well, it's pretty much the same story, especially when it comes to making music. It's a little bit more intense because it's very difficult to find, obviously, your own sound, and you always try to copy what's popular at the moment, and that's the struggle of 95% of the producers out there, or the upcoming producers in the industry. But like I said before, it's important to have your own taste and just try to have a very strong personality when it comes to your image, your obviously the production side, and DJing even. You don't have to copy the set from whoever you like. You just try to like make it a little bit more interesting, and try to make new things that might surprise people. But obviously on the production side, it's more important even, because if you copy exactly other things, it's might not work the best way, but honestly, it's not the easiest thing at the moment to find like that signature sound that no one has done before, but that's like the goal for a lot of people, and like that's one of the most important things for sure.
Yeah, I would agree. Like, it's definitely kind of all about standing out in what's now, like you said, a very crowded field. Like you said, if you do something exactly like Tiesto or Skrillex, you'll just be like a copycat, and it's all
Yeah,
about, like you said,
exactly.
finding yourself and everything. Well, alrighty, let's talk about the fans a little bit. How do the fans inspire you, and what would you want to do to like give back to the fans in any way?
Well, to be honest, one of the things that helped me out the most from the fans is that, every time I see something online or after a show, a tweet, a comment on Facebook or whatever it is, when everything is good and everything is fine and you only see positive stuff, something is not, it's not right. When you get like some bad comments and some people, I didn't like this, I didn't like that. That's the things that you learn from. Whenever I play a show and I get a tweet, man, I didn't like that or whatever. Those are the few things that I always learn from. Actually, also the people that try to make you get better. Even like my team, my team. Every time they see something they don't like, they immediately tell me, because if everything is like like a rainbow, like I say, that's like you're not gonna learn at all. So from the fans, I've learned the most, pretty much just because of them, and yeah, that's pretty much. And in terms of giving back, I don't know, like there's a lot of things you can do to like give back to fans. For instance, I mean, one of the things that I've done recently is we just did this collaboration with oh man, I just forgot the name of the company. Oh man, this bracelets company, I just forgot.
Electric Family.
Yeah, Electric Family.
Electric Family, yeah.
So we just did a collaboration with them, and pretty much all the money that we raised went to Doctors Without Borders here in Spain. So thanks to all the fans that actually get buy certain stuff or whatever, I give it to people that actually need it more than me or other people. So.
That's really cool right there. Yeah, I've actually talked to other artists who have done stuff with Electric Family, and it's so cool that they have all these charities, and it's cool to see the artists using it as a platform and helping causes that they think are really good.
Yeah.
I guess next, what's been like one specific moment where you had with a fan where it wasn't so much like, oh, I like this or I like this from the show, but it was just like, wow, like Danny, like your music's like changed my life, or like I was going through this and that and it was a dark place and your music like brought me up out of it. Have you ever experienced that before when interacting with your fans?
Well, nothing so hardcore like you just said that I can at least remember now, but basically that's more on like no, I don't want to say like on a daily basis, but like also like after shows, and when there's like a lot of people lining up, just to say, man, what a great show, thank you for coming, or even to countries that they don't really get the chance to see DJs, because I don't know, man, like let me think. I don't know, maybe like some countries in South America that DJs don't go there that often. They're like more thankful for that, So in the end, that's one of like the most amazing feelings you get, like after a show, you see like a lot of people just like saying, man, thank you for coming. That was like one of the most amazing experiences of my life. That's fucking cool.
That is really cool. That's awesome right there. Okay, like you said, it's also about, maintaining your uniqueness in your sound. And like you said, you see like what the fans will say on Twitter, like after shows or stuff. How do you maintain the balance between like, oh, maybe I could incorporate that and, put like a little spin on what I'm doing to like, staying true to yourself and kind of blocking out all the haters and stuff like that,
Well, that's a very interesting question, because like I always say, it's very important to keep a balance between, what you like, your signature, and the new things you want to try, what the fans expect from you. And well, I don't want to say haters because I don't really give a shit about haters. That doesn't even count in the balance. But it's true. It's not easy, but also for an artist, I can only talk for myself, but for me, it's very important to try also new things, not going from like 0 to 100, but try new things and try to change a little bit. For instance, this new concept I came out, I think about a year ago, which is called More. It's something that it's different that I haven't done before, and it's definitely something that people didn't really expect from me because from going from all these high energy sets and like killer 90-minute set to playing kind of like different music, it's still at a certain point of my set there is that energy, but it's definitely something new and something that I really wanted to do. And it's like, from playing those 90-minute set to playing a 3-4 hour set, different music. I start more with more deep house, tech house kind of stuff. I build it up. I play my, high energy sound kind of thing, and then I play a little bit different in the end. That's like one example of the changes you can actually make, or the development you can actually, do in your career. That's personally what I think.
That's pretty cool right there. Awesome. Well, all right. What are some future goals that you have professionally and music wise?
Well, basically, right now, my main focus, not really goal, but my main focus is on that project I'm working on right now. Actually, I just did a full summer residency at Pasha in Barcelona with my new concept, which basically I take care of the visuals, the promotion, the whole marketing of the night, the whole thing. That was one of my biggest goals. Actually, the last show was a couple of days ago, like this Monday, and it was like one of the most amazing shows ever. So for me, that felt like, wow, that's like nice goal right there. I have my own night. I did 12 shows. Everyone, like every single night was completely packed, and that was one thing that I feel like it's fucking sick. And from there, I just want to keep developing that concept. I want to take it pretty much to all over the world. I just want to keep. I'm very careful to where I want to take that concept because it's very special. I cannot take it to like a VIP club or whatever. It needs to be like a proper club. Like Space in New York or Leave Miami, or clubs that you can actually bring that concept. That's in terms of like my own kind of thing. And then I want to start. I started thinking about working on an album. It's not something. No, it's not something that is planned. That's more like a personal thing. I've always wanted to do something like that. There's not even a day. There's not even nothing. There's more like a personal thing that one day I wanna get to that point. And I can keep talking for like 3 hours on that question.
Well, that is very cool right there. Like you said, you had the residency going on at Pacha and everything. What's that like for you, since that's kind of like your home, not necessarily hometown, but like the home country crowd, since everyone from all over the world is going there during the summer? How's that a little bit different for you since you're, a native Spaniard?
Sorry, the connection interrupted. Sorry.
I know. I'm sorry. I'll repeat that there. No, I was going to say, like you said, you had the residency at Pacha in Ibiza there, and everyone from all over the world comes there during the summertime to party. How's it a little bit different for you being a native Spaniard and kind of representing, the Spanish party scene and everything like that over there?
It's cool. Actually, it's Pacha in Barcelona, not in.
Oh, Barcelona. I'm sorry. My bad.
Don't worry, man. So it's crazy, because in Barcelona there's like people, especially in the summer, it's people from all over the world. So I remember I had a residency at another club in Barcelona a few years ago, and the result of that is that you go all over the world, and you always get people. I remember like at every single show, I remember there was always like few people telling me, man, I saw you at that club in Barcelona. And that's pretty much what's going to happen after this residence in Barcelona. There is like so many people from all over the world that after that it's just gonna be like, oh man, I saw you there, so there. But in the same time, there's so many people from Spain supporting and telling you how proud they are, you know. So there's like a good balance right there from like people from, you know, outside Spain, and like there's a lot of people from America there actually. So it's cool, and you know, two people from Spain. It's a nice balance.
That is awesome. That's so cool right there. Well, I mean, like you said, just you're working constantly and have so many, you know, ideas for music and everything floating through your head. How do you find like a work-life balance? And do you ever just take any time to chill? And if so, what do you enjoy just doing in your free time?
I think, you know, if you don't really take some time off, or just like, you know, come down for a second and just like do normal stuff of like a normal person, it just gets to a point that is a little bit too much, you know. So there's time to work and like to, you know, just play shows all the time, but you also need some time to like enjoy with family and friends, you know. It's not very easy to like, you know, get days off and whatever, especially myself, because even when I try to be on vacation, which is like 7 days a year, I do it in January. I take like a week. I'm always on my social, like Twitter and seeing. I'm always checking what's going on online, and even checking my emails, and you know, working a bit of music. And so in the end, it doesn't really stop. It doesn't really stop, you know. But it is important, you know, to also, you know, spend some time with family and friends.
Absolutely. Very cool. Very cool. And we talked about the music and everything. What about any just like personal life goals you might have, or, you know, charitable things you want to help with as, you know, you continue to expand your presence in the scene down the line?
Personal goal. Oh,
Like personal goals, yeah. Like not necessarily music related.
Well, let me think. I used before, well, not before, but like while I was starting in the music industry, I used to wakeboard professionally. I used to compete, and actually it's funny because in 2007 I was number 7 in the world, which is funny. I used to like do it very seriously, yeah. So
Oh, wow.
yeah. So people like they can't even imagine. So one thing that I've always wanted to do, and I might do it in the future, hopefully, I wanted to open a wakeboarding school somewhere. I don't even know if it's in Spain or in the US or even Australia. I don't even know, but that's something that I've always wanted to do, and you know, who knows, one day.
There you go. That would be really cool right there, because sports were a big part of your life growing up as well, correct?
Yeah, for sure. I think I've done every sport related to like a board. I've skateboarded, snowboard, of course, wakeboarding a lot. So.
That's really cool. Awesome, right there. Okay, well, I guess we'll open it up to a few fan questions right here I got on Twitter. I had one fan who asked, "What was the hardest track or most frustrating you ever had to produce, and how did you overcome that?" Right there.
For sure, Poseidon, and I'm gonna tell you why. Poseidon probably went through 4 versions that were pretty much very close to be finished. Like normally when you work on a track, you go through not 4 but like 35,000 versions. So it's not that, but like Poseidon went through 4 done final versions that we just didn't really know which one to release. And I was on tour with Thais. Sorry, Thais is Tiesto.
Tiesto. Of course.
And we were trying to decide which one to release. At some point, it's like, you know, let's mix both versions. Let's make the first drop different than the second drop, and let's do this. In the end, it turned out different. But it took so long to actually you know, decide which version was the right one to release. And you know, on that time, I was working on like pretty much all versions too. They were all like pretty much finished. I could play like 4 versions right now. Yeah, man, like that one for sure.
That's very cool right there. I was gonna say, looking for some more Twitter questions right here, trying to find some good ones there. Do you have any dream collaborations at all? Anyone who you'd like to work with in the future?
Yes, of course. I'm gonna say 2 names, and one of them which I mean, obviously, I would love to do something with Potter Robinson. He's been a big inspiration with me since the beginning. Um, and also not to like release a track or nothing, seriously. I would love to just be in the studio with Madonna. I actually went to her concert in New York, I think like 2 or 3 years ago, and I was impressed. And she's been around for so long that not just to make a track with her and like release it or whatever, just to experience of being in the studio with her to see what's going on. Actually, one of my friends, good friends, Martin Solveig, he produced some tracks for her album, and he told me that it was amazing. He's very like, you know, she's very on point.
Wow, that's very cool right there. That's awesome, and I think that's always really cool whenever, like electronic music can expand into the pop sphere or the hip hop sphere and, everyone comes together. It just makes for better music overall. Okay, what was a song that you kind of knew was a turning point in your career and you kind of realized, oh, I'm onto something here?
I am going to say Breaking Your Fall, because before Breaking Your Fall, I was producing. Actually, if you Google it, if you look it up, you might find some of those tracks which were more kind of like techie kind of thing, more tech house, more groovy stuff. And then Breaking Your Fall was like a big turn. It was like a big step for me because I never really released a song like that. I didn't even release a vocal song, and that song was like very, for everyone, for even my team and everyone around us, was like very, let's see what happens with that. We released it on Big B, which is a great label. I actually visited them in New York when I did one of my first shows in New York at Pasha, and we're talking about it, and we finally got to a deal, and we released the track, and yeah, we put it out, and actually very happy with it. It's like one of the most, when I like the biggest changes I made, let's say, because from producing that type of music to that, it was like a big contrast kind of thing.
Excellent. Very cool. Very cool. Alrighty. I guess we'll go ahead and we'll wrap it up there, Danny. Thank you so much for the time and for looking to inspire with the rest of us there. Any last messages you might have for the fans or anything like that?
Yes, I'm fucking happy that Cream is number 2 on Beatport. I was celebrating like a couple of days ago. I was like, yes. No, honestly, I'm very happy because that's one of the best tracks I've got so far. Like, it's very high on the charts, and I guess thank you everyone for putting it right there. And it's been great. The music video, it's fun. I hope everyone likes it. And yeah, man, thank you everyone for supporting.
Alrighty, there you guys have it. Thank you so much. That was
Thank
Danny
you.
Avila. Thank you, man. Peace out, Danny.
Thank
You've
you.
been watching. Thank you. You guys have been watching Aspire to Inspire live right here. The next live episode will be September 30th with Tie Dye. Hope you guys all enjoyed. Have a great day. Peace.